Welcome to Angel's Message for You channel. Before we begin, the angels are surrounding you right now with a warm, golden light. They are wrapping their wings around your heart, whispering that you are seen, you are loved, and you are never, ever alone. Take a deep breath. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Now stop scrolling. Stop everything for just a moment. Because what you are about to hear, it is not something that found you by accident. Out of every person on this planet, out of every video that could have appeared in your feed today, this one showed up for you. And when heaven speaks, it never wastes a word. So stay with me all the way through, because what the angels need you to hear today is going to shift something deep inside you. It is going to answer something your heart has been quietly carrying for a long, long time. And by the time this message is done, you are going to feel a peace that makes absolutely no sense given everything going on around you. That is the kind of peace that only comes from above. So do not move. This is for you. Beloved, there are things happening right now with your soulmate that if your eyes could truly see them, your heart might not be able to hold all that emotion at once. And I am here today to share a truth that is going to stir something deep within you. Something that very few people get to know. But heaven has chosen you to know it right now. The love you feel, that strong and steady pull that just refuses to let go. That connection that stays alive no matter how much time passes or how much distance tries to creep in between. That is not coming from loneliness. It is not coming from imagination or wishful thinking. It has roots. It has meaning. It has a direction. And it has a reason that is far greater than anything your human mind can fully wrap itself around. God is behind this story. Every single day you feel someone touching your heart in a way no one else ever has. No matter how busy life gets, no matter how hard the world tries to pull your attention somewhere else, there is a name that keeps echoing inside you. And no matter how far away everything might seem right now, that feeling just does not go cold. If anything, on some days it feels even stronger than before. This is not by accident. There is a greater force holding all of this together. Today, I have come to tell you that your soulmate is getting involved with someone committed. Now, before that lands the wrong way, I want you to breathe, because I know how those words might hit you at first. But stay with me, beloved, because what I am about to reveal is powerful. It is holy, and it is going to completely change the way you understand everything you have been feeling. That committed someone, your soulmate, is deeply involved with every single day is God. Yes, your soulmate has been drawing closer to God in a real, sincere, and consistent way. They have been placing their life, their dreams, their feelings, and even the love they carry for you directly into the hands of the Heavenly Father. And that sacred commitment, that bond between your soulmate and heaven, exists for one beautiful purpose: to bless you both, protect you both, and prepare you both for a love that was literally written in heaven. A love designed with detail, with care, with purpose. And right now, as you are hearing these words, God is using this moment to remind you of something you deeply need to know. None of this is a coincidence. The feeling you carry inside is not a burden. It is a seed, and that seed was planted in both your hearts by God Himself. There is nothing wrong with feeling what you feel. There is nothing wrong with wanting something true with the one your soul recognizes. What you feel is real, and more than real, it is part of a plan. Your soulmate, perhaps without you even knowing it, prays for this love. They ask God for guidance, for strength, for wisdom. They show up in a place no one else can see, at the feet of God, and they surrender. They connect with the Most High every single day, seeking understanding about what is being felt, about what is to come, about what the two of you mean to each other. And it is precisely because of this that heaven sent this message to you today, to remind you that you have not been forgotten, to show you that even when everything around you feels quiet, heaven is not quiet. It is working. Right now, your soulmate is being shaped, prepared, and strengthened in spirit to live out what has already been written in the heavens above. The spiritual connection happening right now between your soulmate and God is stronger than anything words can describe. It is true. It is deep. It is unbreakable. And that is a blessing, beloved, because there is no safer place for love to live than in the hands of the one who created it. If you were led here today, do not doubt it. This is part of the plan too. This revelation was sent to ignite the flame of trust within you. God does not bring two people together by accident. He builds stories with purpose, with intention, with grace. And if this feeling keeps persisting in your heart, it is because something sacred is already happening in the unseen world. Something that your eyes cannot see yet, but your heart has been quietly sensing all along. Stay with me, because I am going to walk you through, step by step, how this bond is shaping the path of your love, and how everything that is being cared for by God is going to show up in your reality. Everything is being moved with wisdom, with timing, and with so much purpose. Beloved, there are truths that when they are finally revealed, they completely change the way we feel, the way we think, and even the way we see the time that has passed. Sometimes life looks like it is on pause. Your heart is held by a feeling that just refuses to leave, and you find yourself wondering why that connection just will not dissolve, even when everything seems to have drifted apart. But what if I told you there is something you still do not know about your soulmate? Something that is happening every single day and may actually be touching you even if you do not understand why. Today I am here to tell you about this sacred truth that runs deeper than daily actions, deeper than words spoken or left unspoken, deeper than any physical distance or the missed moments along the way. I am talking about something holy, an offering your soulmate has been making far from the eyes of the world, yet very close to the heart of God. You know that strong feeling you carry, that strange certainty you sometimes cannot explain even to yourself? The answer is up above. It is in the conversations your soulmate has been having with the Creator. It is in the prayers made with a heart full of faith, in the tears that no one has seen, but that God has gathered one by one. Your soulmate is seeking in God the answers the world simply could not give. They are placing with real trust the love they feel for you into the hands of the one who sees all. And that is why you still feel it. That is why there is this bond between you even as time passes, even when the paths seem to have grown apart. The connection between two souls united by a purpose cannot be broken by what is only temporary. And when one of those souls turns fully to God, something begins to move at a depth that no visible action could ever reveal. God has heard every single prayer your soulmate has made. He has received every word spoken with sincerity, every thought offered with hope. This love is being watered every single day by heaven. The faith of your soulmate has been sustaining something the eyes cannot see, but the heart feels clearly. It is a spiritual connection that is growing and being strengthened right where it truly matters, in the presence of God Himself. This is not something hidden out of bad intentions. It is not something neglected. It is in truth an expression of the purity of this love. Your soulmate understood that this feeling could not just be handed over in any way or at any time. That is why they sought God first before seeking any human answer. And that one choice changed everything. Because when you seek God first, everything that follows is led with wisdom. And you, who may have been wondering whether there is still something between you, are now beginning to understand. You are starting to see why you feel what you feel, why your heart stays steady even in the waiting, why there is a strange peace even in the middle of all the uncertainty. It is the reflection of what is being built above. Your soulmate is being led with love, with faith, and with direction. And you, even without realizing it, have been part of this spiritual journey all along. So many times what we call distance is actually sacred preparation time. A season when God shapes, heals, and strengthens not only the one we love but also ourselves. And all of it is part of the divine care surrounding this love. If your soulmate is walking with God, you can trust completely that they are on the right path. Because God never takes anyone through shortcuts. He leads through the path of truth. Beloved, I know there are days when the heart feels heavy, when unanswered questions rise to the surface, when longing comes out of nowhere, when doubt tries to take the place of faith. But now that you know about this spiritual offering, let your heart rest. You are not alone in this feeling. There is someone who stands before God every single day, asking for wisdom, asking for blessing, asking for both of you. And God, who is committed to what is born of true love, is listening. He is caring. He is leading. Your soulmate has chosen to do what so many people never find the courage to do, to place everything into the hands of the Father. And that is already beautiful proof of maturity, faith, and real purpose. It shows that this love is being taken seriously, that there is a genuine desire to live something lasting, something pure, something blessed. What is being prepared in prayer will absolutely be lived in reality. God does not waste true feelings. He transforms them into stories that glorify heaven and heal the soul. Every single day while the world spins with its noise and its endless distractions, a sacred moment takes place quietly, a moment when your soulmate closes their eyes, bows their head, or simply speaks to God in thought. In that moment, the bond is strengthened. Prayer opens the path between the heart and the highest, creating an invisible but deeply real bridge. Prayer that comes from someone who truly loves carries a different weight in heaven. God does not listen in a rush. He listens with attention, with care, with presence. And everything your soulmate has placed in his hands, whether doubt, longing, confusion, or love, is being received by the one who already knows what is coming. Nothing is ever lost when it is surrendered in faith. Your soulmate has been learning day after day to trust God more than their own desires. And that is one of the greatest signs of spiritual maturity. When someone chooses to stay in faith even without understanding everything, something begins to grow inside them. That faith transforms the way they love, the way they wait, the way they see life. With every prayer, a barrier is broken. With every surrender, a weight is lifted. With every step of faith, the path aligns more closely with what God has planned. There is someone who includes you in their conversations with heaven, who asks for light over what is still hidden, who wants to live something pure but is not willing to walk without God's direction. That is surrender. That is faith. That is love that is not just words but spiritual action that changes everything. The love of two people who pray, even on separate paths, meets in the heart of God. And that meeting is deeper than any other, because it is there that understanding, patience, respect, and real preparation are born. When both align in faith, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Beloved, there are feelings that do not arrive by chance. There are bonds that are not simply born from exchanged words or coincidences of fate. True love does not appear only through affinity or time spent together. It is planted carefully by hands that know exactly what each heart needs. And when that love is born inside you with such intensity, such persistence, such life, it is because there is a divine origin behind it. The love you feel for your soulmate was not planted by mistake. You are not dreaming of something with no roots. God does not waste sincere feelings. And that is why today I am here to remind you of this truth. If this love was born in your heart, it is because God Himself planted that seed. Nothing that begins in God is empty. Nothing that comes from Him leads nowhere. Take a quick second before we move forward. Many channels are reposting and copying our content, but authentic energy cannot be duplicated. For the strongest positive connection and divine guidance, always listen from the original Angel's Message for You channel with the black logo base. Now, let's continue with the message your angels want you to hear. It may look like everything is on pause, but God's timing never fails. And the most beautiful part of all of this is that this seed was planted in two hearts at the same time. Yes, even with different stories, even with distinct paths, your soulmate also carries this feeling. Because when the Creator unites two people for a purpose, He prepares both of them with the same care. Perhaps you have wondered why it hurts so much to feel this absence. Why your heart feels so tied to something that has not fully come into the natural world yet. But here is the truth. When God plants something within a person, the harvest time is very different from the planting time. First, He prepares the soil, waters it with experiences, removes what does not belong, strengthens the roots. Only then does the love bloom in its fullness. This is not delay, beloved. This is wisdom. Your soulmate is going through the same process, being watered daily by God's touch, while praying, while trusting, while surrendering. This person is being transformed from within because God is working in the places human eyes cannot reach. And even if you cannot see it clearly right now, everything is being cared for with divine precision. Your love was planted with intention, and that already changes everything. Because when something comes from God, He Himself takes responsibility for caring for it. He prepares it. He guides it. He sustains it. And if you have carried this feeling carefully even on the difficult days, it is because the Spirit of God is preserving that seed alive within you. And what is planted in faith, beloved, never dies. It may go through hard seasons, through times of emotional drought, through nights of uncertainty. But if God placed it in your heart, that seed is not lost. It is maturing. It is gaining strength to withstand storms. It is waiting for the right moment to bloom in beauty and in truth. Do not let anxiety reach in and try to pull from your heart what God is still watering. Time may try to confuse you. Circumstances may look like they are working against you. But faith knows what the eyes cannot see. That God never plants without intention. And if He allowed this love to be born, it is because something is prepared in the future that makes every stage of the present completely worth it. When God plants something in two hearts, He works carefully in each one. Neither of you is being overlooked. Neither of you is alone. You are being healed from within, freed from old wounds, prepared for something new. And so is your soulmate. Everything is being led with patience, because what will be lived needs structure, maturity, and truth. This love was planted with purpose, and the promises of God never fail. It does not matter what is happening right now in the natural. What matters is who is taking care of the process. And when God plants something, He Himself guarantees the harvest. Beloved, if there is something you need to hold firmly right now, it is this. God does not work on impulse. He does not build stories on fragile foundations. Everything that comes from him has direction, intention, and purpose. And when it comes to true love, God acts with even greater care. Because to the Father, love is not a distraction. It is a plan. There is a big difference between a passing desire and a divine plan. Desire can come in strong but fade with time. What is born as purpose remains. Even in seasons of waiting, even in moments of doubt, even when everything around you seems to be trying to shift your focus somewhere else. What God plans endures. And this feeling you carry is enduring for a reason. You may have tried to understand with your logic everything that you feel. You may have looked for quick answers and maybe even tried to move on. But what was born between you and your soulmate does not follow human formulas. There is something higher here, something deeper, something more rooted, planted in both of you with divine intention. And God does not plant what he does not intend to care for. God personally cares for the plans born of true love. He watches every action, every choice, every prayer. Not because he is testing anyone, but because he is preparing everyone. Because in order to live what is truly great, a willing heart is needed. And that is why time sometimes seems to challenge your patience. Not because God has forgotten you, but because he is strengthening what will be lived between you. Your soulmate is also part of this plan. This person has been seeking God sincerely, praying, trusting, and surrendering. And when two people are being shaped by God at the same time, even in different places, what is being built between them has the strength to last. It is love with a spiritual foundation. And you know what else reveals that this comes from God? The fact that even with life's long pauses, the feeling remains alive. Even as time moves, even when other paths have appeared, something inside you keeps quietly saying, there is still something here. This is not unhealthy attachment. This is a sign that the root was planted too deeply to be pulled out by passing circumstances. God does not need to explain everything for you to trust him. He only needs you to stay willing to keep watering what he himself planted. Beloved, have you ever stopped to really think about what brought you to this message today? Maybe it was a nudge from your heart, an unexplainable pull, the feeling that you just needed to hear something real today. I need to tell you with the certainty of heaven, none of this was by chance. You were brought here, guided here by a divine force that knows your heart better than you know it yourself. When a soul is restless, God listens. When a heart is searching for meaning, God answers. And when someone carrying true love feels lost, God sends signs. This message is one of those signs. You were called to hear this because there is a living promise involving you and your soulmate. God does not leave promises hanging. He confirms. He comforts. He strengthens. It is as if heaven is saying directly to you, I have not forgotten you. I have not left this love to chance. I have been caring for it the entire time. Your soulmate has also been guided. They have been seeking God, offering sincere prayers, and surrendering. You are both being led down different paths right now, but toward the same spiritual meeting point. You are not disconnected. You are being shaped. And even if your eyes have not yet seen it, your hearts are both still responding to heaven's call. This restlessness in your heart has a name. It is called purpose. And that purpose is being revealed little by little with every confirmation, with every sign that finds you even when you are not looking. Today you were brought closer to the promise to rekindle the flame of faith. Because it is time to see that the love being prepared is part of a plan whose origin is in heaven itself. Beloved, there are distances that are not measured in steps or miles but in processes. Sometimes you look at your life and feel separated from the one you love by more than just time and space. as if something beyond geography stands between you and your soulmate. But what needs to be revealed right now is that even with that feeling of distance, you are both still being shaped, guided, and cared for by the hands of the same Father. While you work to understand what you feel, while you walk through the days with a heaviness in your chest and a longing that cannot be put into words, God is working behind the scenes. He is tending to your heart and at the same time working in the life of your soulmate. It does not matter where each of you is right at this moment. You are both in the hands of a God who knows the paths before they even take shape. This care does not look exactly the same for both of you. Each person has their own story, their own lessons, their own wounds, and their own responsibilities in their personal growth. But what unites you in this process is the origin. You are both being shaped by the same God who understands each person's timing, who respects the seasons, and who guides everything with the precision of one who never makes a mistake. God knows what you feel, and He knows what your soulmate feels. He sees what no one else sees, hears prayers no one else hears, and understands emotions that you yourself cannot explain. And even if you are walking separate paths right now, what is being built in spirit is far greater than any apparent distance. So many loves are lost because they tried to bloom before their time. But when God is shaping two hearts at the same time, He knows exactly what He is doing. Sometimes what looks like separation is actually protection. It is God gently preventing something precious from being given without the right preparation. True love needs emotional and spiritual structure to remain standing against the inevitable winds that will come. You may feel like you are in a season of waiting, but in truth, you are in a season of transformation. Your soulmate is too. Changes are happening within each of you. Not changes in feeling, but in vision, in maturity, in purpose. God is working on your thoughts, your actions, your way of loving, of forgiving, of surrendering. All of this is part of the preparation so that when the right time comes, you can live this love with balance and with truth. And here is what is most powerful about all of this. Even if you are not together right now, you are still connected by the same faith. Because when two people are in God's hands, even in different places, they continue walking toward a common point. The purpose heaven has already determined. There is no time wasted in this process. Every day has a purpose. Every emotion, every prayer, every quiet reflection you both have is contributing to this construction. God's timing is not passive waiting. It is a time of building. It is when He perfects what will be lived and removes from the path anything that could block what is coming. It is as if each of you were going through your own preparation separately, yet both with the same destination. A story born from the hands of the one who never fails. Beloved, if there is something invisible that feels like it is holding this love together even now, you are right. There is a divine hand over this story. And if today you cannot yet see the fruit of what is being cared for, it is because God is still watering, pruning, and strengthening the roots. What is born with purpose needs time to grow strong enough to bloom in fullness. Heaven has its own way of speaking, not always through direct words, but through events that touch the heart in ways no one else can reach. God does not usually explain through long speeches. He confirms through details that at first glance may seem ordinary but carry a message that is meant specifically for you, for someone with spiritual sensitivity. And that is what I am here to alert you about now. In the coming days, signs will be sent to confirm everything you have heard. These signs will not come in grand, dramatic form. They will come with the quiet precision of the one who knows your innermost being, who knows exactly what will make your heart stir in a completely different way. Maybe through a sentence you read that feels like it was written just for you. A song that plays at exactly the right moment. A memory that surfaces without warning. Or a message that lands directly where doubt was trying to take root. All of it will be heaven's way of showing you that you are not dreaming alone. So many people miss God's signs because they are waiting for something loud and spectacular. But what is divine does not always make a lot of noise. What comes from God usually comes with peace. It is that light but steady certainty. That feeling of I needed to hear exactly this today. And that is exactly what will happen for you in the coming days. A series of quiet confirmations that will help you understand that nothing revealed here was an exaggeration. It is spiritual truth that is about to show up in your reality. God does not give revelations just to stir emotions and leave you there. He reveals to align, to strengthen, to prepare. And when he says your soulmate is being cared for by him, that is not a distant promise. It is something already happening. The confirmation of it is on its way. And it will come in simple ways but with profound and lasting effects. You just need to keep your heart open, your eyes attentive, and your faith aligned. It might be that someone says exactly what you needed to hear. It might be that you have a dream that stays with you. It might be that while in prayer, you feel a new peace flooding in that you did not feel before. Or perhaps something completely beyond your control will unfold. But it will make you feel that God is present, that He is listening, that He is guiding all of it. These signs will not come to cause confusion. They will come to bring confirmation. And it is not only you who will receive them. Your soulmate will also be reached by signs. God does not work in imbalance. When He builds something between two people, He tends to both sides. The same God who is touching your heart right now is also touching your soulmate's life. This means that even without knowing it, you are both walking toward a point where everything will begin to make more sense. Some signs will come to renew hope. Others will remove fear. And there will be those that simply serve as the answer to something you have been asking for a long, long time. Nothing will be disconnected. Every detail of the coming days will carry an invitation. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep preparing. Because what is in God's hands is in the best hands possible. Being attentive to signs simply means keeping your heart open enough to notice when God wants to remind you that you are on the right path. That sensitivity comes not from worry but from faith. The faith of someone who knows heaven fulfills what it promises. In the coming days, do not rush. Do not force anything. Simply trust. Heaven will make sure the signs reach you. They will come as subtle touches but leave deep marks. What is from God never goes unnoticed. And when these signs come, and you will remember this moment. You will understand that everything you feel makes complete sense. That your soulmate is also being guided. That this love is not forgotten. That the promise is alive. And that God remains faithful in every detail, in every stage, in every answer. Beloved, God is a Father who does not only listen but acts. And if there is something He firmly and consistently honors, it is what is born of true love. When God blesses a feeling, He also makes a commitment to the story that will be lived. And today, I have come to remind you of this. God is committed to this love. From the very beginning, when this feeling first bloomed in you so intensely, God was already there. You did not choose to love your soulmate by accident. This bond was planted with intention, watered with purpose, and has been sustained by promises. And a promise made by God is never forgotten. It stays alive even when the days are confusing, even when the paths seem separated, even when time tests patience. God's promise does not depend on perfection. It is not withdrawn because of human flaws. On the contrary, What comes from heaven is perfected even in the midst of weakness. God does not require you to understand everything right now. He asks you to trust, because the love he seals with commitment is the very one he protects, guides, and fulfills in full. Before this message goes deeper into your heart, pause and check the channel name carefully. Some people are stealing and reposting our content, but copied messages do not carry the same positive spiritual energy. Stay connected to the original source, Angel's Message for You channel with the black logo base. And now, let your angels speak to you. And that is what is happening between you and your soulmate. This love is being cared for by divine hands. And it does not matter how many turns time has taken, nor how many doubts have risen and fallen in the process. What God has promised remains standing. The promise is alive because it was made by a God who does not change. A God who saw what you felt in the very beginning, saw how your heart responded to the connection with this person, and continues to see the sincere devotion that still lives within you. God does not make promises on impulse. He does not plant a love to leave it dormant forever. He allows something to be born within two hearts so that at the right time, it will bloom with beauty and real maturity. God's commitment to you is not only about comforting you during the wait. It is about leading you to the fulfillment of what was planned. And it is precisely this divine commitment that has also been sustaining your soulmate's feelings. This person has placed their own story in God's hands, asking for guidance, for strength, for clarity. And God has been answering. Even when you cannot see it, there are things taking place in the spiritual realm. There is surrender. There is seeking. There is transformation. God is committed to both of you because this love was entrusted to him. That is why even with all the adversity, something inside you remains steady. Because the promise does not depend on circumstances. It is sustained by God's faithfulness. And he, as a loving father, does not abandon what he promised to bless. When God commits to a story, he moves everything necessary to make it happen. Beloved, you may have faced days of uncertainty, nights of longing, moments of deep questioning. But now is the time to remember who is in control. The promise you carry in your heart was not born from your will alone. It was planted by God, and everything that is his stays alive even when it seems dormant. God knows the time. God knows the way. God knows the path. And if you have come this far, if you have listened to all of this with an open heart, it is because you are already being prepared to see the promise fulfilled. Not with haste but with faith. Not with anxiety but with trust. Because when God fulfills what he has promised, he delivers far more than expected. He restores what was broken, strengthens what was fragile, and gives new meaning to what seemed lost. The promise is alive, beloved, and you are about to begin seeing the signs of this truth. God is committed to this love, to you and to your soulmate. And he does not leave unfinished what he began with purpose. What he united in spirit, he also sustains in time. Trust that heaven is at work. You are not here by chance. This revelation is not a pretty comfort meant to last only a few minutes. It is a spiritual confirmation, a reminder from above that the promise is still active and being handled with the care of a father who knows exactly what he is doing. You and your soulmate are in preparation. You are both being cared for, strengthened, and transformed. And all of this is part of the plan. Many times the waiting has made you question whether there was still something there. On some days you may have felt like you were walking alone, trying to keep alive something that seemed so far away. But today you have understood that it was not loneliness. It was purpose. That the love you feel was never stagnant. it was being shaped by God's hands. That your soulmate has also been walking toward him, seeking, praying, and surrendering. And this is proof that something much greater is happening beyond what you can see. No distance can erase what God protects. No circumstance has the power to undo what has been sealed in prayer. The love that exists between you and your soulmate is being built on heaven's foundation. It is pure. It is strong. It is full of purpose. And when something like this is born, God does not simply watch. He gets involved. He acts. He sustains. The one your heart recognizes is being guided by the same light that brought you here today. Even on different paths, you have both been touched by the same presence. You are being aligned by the same spirit. You are both being prepared, step by step, to live a love that will not be shallow, will not be confusing, will not be incomplete. A whole, healed, conscious, and deeply blessed love. So trust. Trust like someone who already knows they are being cared for. Trust like someone who can finally rest after a long wait because heaven has confirmed what the heart already quietly suspected. And when confirmation comes from God, it does not fade. Settles in. It changes the way you see everything. You are not lost. You are being guided. And what you feel is not simply drifting through time. It is held in the arms of the eternal. From today forward, look at the coming days with a completely new perspective. Be open to the signs. Notice how God will speak to you in simple yet direct ways. Allow yourself to feel His presence in the details. And more than anything, feed your faith. Because what is coming will require a willing, light, and hope-filled heart. Your soulmate is also being awakened. The love you share is being acknowledged in heaven right now. The weight of the waiting has not been in vain. The feelings that have traveled with you until now have not been deceptive. What you have lived on the inside carries eternal value. And if God is saying He will fulfill it, then believe it. Nothing can stop it. Your story has been written with love. And love that comes from God is never lost along the way. It matures. It endures. It blooms at the right time. This message is not an ending. It is the beginning of a new understanding. A turning of the page within you. Keep listening to heaven. Keep strengthening yourself in prayer. Keep believing that what God promised He will fulfill. Because the love He blesses, He honors. And what He honors, He will not allow to be destroyed. In the coming days, be watchful. The promise will begin to show clearer signs. Your heart will feel it. You will recognize it. And when that happens, remember what has been revealed to you today. God is committed to this love, and He is about to show you what only those with faith are willing to wait long enough to see. May heaven's blessing always be upon you. May peace, courage, and clarity be yours to face every challenge ahead. Know that you are never alone. You are seen. You are loved. You are held. And the angels are with you today and every day. With infinite love. Amen.